class 9. Today we're going to be dealing on social study, on the topic, objective of social study. But before we go into the topic in details, we're going to be talking about the meaning of social study. We cannot talk about objective without talking about definition of social study. Now, I know that most of us are conversant with the word, the definition of social study, but we're going to run through before we go to our topic for today. We say that social study is the study of man and his interaction with his environment. Social study is the study of man and his interaction with the environment. And the environment we are talking about has to do with the physical and the social. In conclusion of writer, when we talk about the environment, it has to do with the inculcation of right knowledge, attitude, value, and skill. It has to do with inculcation of right knowledge, attitude, value, and skill. That is about social study. I think for the last time I said that social study is the study of man and his interaction with his environments, in brackets physical and social, and interaction, inculcation of right knowledge, attitude, value, and skill. Now, when we talk about the physical environment, we deal with geographical features. Geographical features like land, rivers, mountain, lake, oceans, and valleys. These are the physical features of social study. It's the valley, the lake, the ocean, the mountains, the rivers. These are the physical features of social study. Then when we talk about the social environments, it deals with the interaction among people, such as social agent like family. When we talk about the social environment, it deals with the interaction among people such as social agents. This social agent we are talking about, it has to do with family, school, market, community, churches, etc. These are the social environments that we are talking about. Take note, we mentioned physical and social environment. So we have talked about the physical environment. We have talked about the social environment. When we made mention of the physical environment, we said something like the river, the mountains. We said something like the rivers, the mountain, the ocean, the lake, etc. Then when we talked about the social environment, we have words like a family, we have the community, we have the market, we have the school. So these are the key concepts in the definition of a social study. These are the things that we discuss when we talk about social study. How man relates and interact with his environment. Now, the concept of social study as a whole revolves around certain objectives. You cannot talk about social study without talking about the objectives. What are the aims of social study? If we are doing something, if we are venturing into a business or doing something, we must have a goal. We must have objectives. So this social study of a thing, what are the reasons why man has to relate with his environment? What are the reasons why man should relate with his environment? Now we're going to take the objectives of that now brings us to the objectives of social study. Going into details of the topic we are discussing, objectives of social study, we said that the concept of social study as a whole revolves around certain objectives. The concept of social study revolves around certain objectives, and the objectives have been outlined on the board. The first one we have there, one of the objectives of social study is developing the ability to adapt to changing environment. You develop the ability to adapt to certain environments, in the sense that it is said that change is constant. We should prepare ourselves to adapt to any change that will come our way. So another one is inculcating national consciousness and national unity. Inculcating national consciousness and national unity. Now, when we talk about national consciousness, number 2 is inculcating national consciousness and national unity. Then number 3, we have becoming good citizens capable of and willing to contribute to the development of society. We as citizens of Nigeria, we should be good citizens and we should be capable of adding value to our nation. We should think of the things that we do that will add value to this nation, not the things that will bring disgrace or that will tarnish the image of this nation. That is talking about becoming good citizens capable of and willing to contribute to the development of society. Then number 4 said inculcating the right type of value and attitude. You inculcate the right type of value and attitude wherever you find yourself. You add value to people's life. Let it be that when somebody sees you, they'll be happy that you are around. They know that you have something beneficial, something profitable to offer. Then when you talk of attitude, attitude is one important thing that lasts longer. You have to cultivate the attitude of a good behavior. Behave well wherever you find yourself, not minding if people are seeing you or whatever, not minding if people like that knows you very well are seeing you. You cultivate the right attitude. Then the last one is acquisition of appropriate skill, ability, and their competence. When I talk of acquisition, that word acquisition comes from acquire. In the world we find ourselves, we find out that if you are somebody that has nothing to offer, you don't have any knowledge, you are not skillful, you don't have knowledge of anything at all, you find out that you phase out. Everybody wants to acquire, even the ones that have acquired knowledge, they have acquired, let me say, to some people they will say, the knowledge he or she has acquired is enough for him or her. But to them, they are just it's just a stepping stone to them. So we should try to acquire knowledge, acquisition of appropriate skill, ability, and their competence. When we talk about skills, learning of trading, hairdressing, computer, and all that, this has to do with skill. Then ability and their competence. When I talk about competence, these are the key words in the objective. When we talk about the competence, you have to be very good in what you do. At any moment and at any point in time, if you're being called upon, you can deliver. Even when somebody wakes you up from sleep and asks you to do this thing, or can you just brief me on something, you should be able to do what you know how to do. That is all about competency. In any point in time, you'll be able to do whatsoever you are being called upon to do. Now let's go into explanation in details. Number 1, I'm going to be taking number 1, developing the ability to adapt to changing environments. We're going to explain that. Then we'll take number 2. It said this is the change or this disturbance of the environment caused by human influence on natural ecological process. Developing the ability to adapt to changing environments. We said that these are the disturbance of the environment caused by human influence. For example, most of the times you see the environment is not always conducive. Maybe because of some certain things around you, you don't feel okay with the environment. So you have to develop the ability